Hook. Dramatic opening narrator. VO. The year is 401 BC. 1,000 miles into a hostile desert, a ragged column of 10,000 battle-hardened Greek mercenaries stands at the edge of annihilation. Their leader is gone, killed in battle. Their paymaster is a Persian prince who's abandoned them. And their new commander? Just 26 years old, with no military experience whatsoever. Narrator. VO. This is not the story of a conquering emperor or a legendary general. It's the story of a teenager who inherited an army, made impossible choices under fire, and led his men home through fire and famine. He didn't conquer empires, he saved lives. And in doing so, he taught us how to lead when everything falls apart. Context bridge, historical background, 300 words. Narrator. VO. To understand this moment, we need to go back. In 413 BC, the Spartans were fighting Athens in the Peloponnesian War. Cyrus the younger son of Persia's king, saw Sparta as a threat. He hired 10,000 Greek mercenaries, the finest hoplites in the Mediterranean, to help him overthrow his older brother, Artaxerxes II. Narrator. VO. Cyrus promised these soldiers gold and land. But after landing in Anatolia, he marched east toward Babylon with a plan to take the throne. On the banks of the Euphrates River, near the town of Cunaxa, Cyrus faced his brother's full army. Narrator. VO. In that battle, Cyrus was killed. His army shattered. The Greeks found themselves stranded deep inside Persian territory, cut off from home, with no pay, no allies, and surrounded by enemies. They called themselves the 10,000. Narrator. VO. For months, they wandered through hostile lands. Scouts reported enemy patrols. Food ran out. Morale plummeted. Then one day, a young man stepped forward. Narrator. VO. His name was Xenophon, not yet a philosopher, not yet a historian, but a cavalry officer with a sharp mind and a quiet confidence. At 26, he had never commanded an army. Yet, when the others looked for a new leader, they chose him. Core teaching number 1. Leadership by consensus, not authority. 900 words. Narrator. VO. Lesson 1. True leadership isn't about rank. It's about trust. When the Greeks lost Cyrus, they didn't elect a Spartan or an Athenian. They chose Xenophon because he listened. He held councils where every man could speak. He asked, "What do you think?" Not "What should I decide?" Narrator. VO. One night, during a council meeting, Xenophon proposed crossing the Tigris River. Some said it was suicidal. Others feared being trapped between two rivers. But instead of imposing his will, Xenophon said, "We must act together. If we go as one. If we stay, we die as one." Asterisk, he did not force his opinion on anyone, but led them by persuasion. Asterisk. Narrator. VO. That's the power of consensus leadership. You don't command loyalty through fear. You earn it through inclusion. Narrator. VO. In today's world, top-down leadership often fails because people feel unheard. Google found that psychological safety, where employees can speak up without fear, is the #1 factor in high-performing teams. Xenophon didn't have data like that, but he understood something deeper. When people co-own decisions, they fight harder for results. Narrator. VO. Think of a startup founder who asks her team, "What's our next move?" versus one who announces, "Here's the strategy." Which do you think will get more buy-in? The answer lies in history and in human nature. Core teaching number 2. Adaptability under pressure, 900 words. Narrator. VO. Lesson 2. Great leaders adapt faster than their environment changes. After Cunaxa, the Greeks faced starvation. Scouts found a village with grain, but the locals refused to sell. So Xenophon didn't panic. He ordered his men to dig up wheat fields, not to destroy, but to harvest. Narrator. VO. Some called it theft. But Xenophon argued, "We are not thieves. We are soldiers defending ourselves. Survival justifies necessity." He even left extra coins behind his payment. Asterisk. They ate the grain, but gave money for it. Thus they were fed without harming anyone. Asterisk. Narrator. VO. This wasn't brute force. It was strategic empathy. He balanced morality with survival, dignity with pragmatism. Narrator, VO. Today, companies face similar pressures. Supply chains break. Markets shift overnight. The best leaders don't cling to old plans. They pivot. Amazon famously changed its focus from books to cloud computing when the market moved. Netflix shifted from DVDs to streaming. But what separates good leaders from great ones? It's how they handle the gray areas. Xenophon didn't pretend the situation was clean-cut. He acknowledged the dilemma and chose the path that preserved both lives and principles. Narrator, VO. In business, ethical compromises are tempting. But lasting success comes from navigating complexity with integrity. Xenophon showed us that adaptation isn't about bending rules. It's about understanding context, valuing your people, and acting decisively without losing your compass. Core teaching number 3. Leading by example, 900 words. Narrator, VO. Lesson 3. You can't lead if you're not willing to share the burden. Throughout their march, Xenophon walked at the front. He carried water skins. He ate the same hardtack as his men. When food was scarce, he ate less so others might eat more. Narrator, VO. He didn't give speeches about sacrifice. He lived it. And that mattered more than any oration. Narrator, VO. Modern research confirms this. Gallup found that employees who strongly agree their manager works hard alongside them report higher engagement and productivity. Leaders who roll up their sleeves, literally or figuratively, build credibility. Think of Satya Nadella at Microsoft. Instead of just talking about growth mindset, he rolled up his sleeves and worked on code reviews. That kind of authenticity inspires loyalty far more than titles or bonuses. Narrator, VO. Xenophon understood something fundamental. Leadership isn't a podium. It's proximity. It's presence. When times get tough, people don't want a PowerPoint presentation. They want to see you standing beside them, facing the storm together. Modern applications. How these lessons apply today. 300 words. Narrator, VO. So how do we apply these ancient truths today? First, build psychological safety. Create spaces where your team feels safe to voice concerns, especially when things are going wrong. Second, cultivate adaptive thinking. Train yourself to ask, what would Xenophon do when facing uncertainty? Third, lead by example. Show up, listen, share the load. Narrator, VO. These aren't just historical curiosities. They're timeless principles. Because whether you're leading a startup, a nonprofit, or a multinational corporation, the core challenges remain the same: trust, resilience, and purpose. Call to action. Narrator, VO. The 10,000 didn't win battles. They survived. They marched 1,500 miles across enemy territory, through deserts and mountains, guided by a young man who believed in his men more than his title. Their story reminds us that true strength isn't in conquest. It's in perseverance. It's in choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. It's in leading not because you're told to, but because you care enough to step up when it matters most. If you want to learn more lessons from history's greatest strategists, from Alexander to Sun Tzu, from Hannibal to Napoleon, then subscribe to The Ancient Strategist. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode. History doesn't just teach us what happened. It teaches us who we can become.